Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again, and I'm back with another 40k video from Major Kill. And the topic for today's video is every time a guardsman humiliated a space marine. I wonder how a guardsman could humiliate a space marine. So, depending on how the space marine was humiliated, could kind of be a good thing and a bad thing for the guardsman. So let's just say, for example, a space marine is trying to take out and destroy a tank or something like that. And, you know, he's struggling, can't get, like, the shots in the right spot or something like that. And then you get this guardsman come running up to the tank, climbing up on the tank, you know, lifting open the hatch, throwing a grenade in, slamming the hatch shut, jumping off, and boom, tank explodes and stuff like that. So for the guardsman, that could be a pretty good morale boost for his squad or unit or something like that. Like, oh, dude, I just saw you run up on that tank. That was so badass and stuff like that. Oh, man, that was just so cool and stuff. And on the negative side, you know, you just humiliate a space marine. It might kill you, you know, because now that space marine's got to go back to his chapter. And if his other space marine buddy saw that, you know, there's going to be jokes made, you know. Oh, we're fighting an armored unit next. Should we bring you or should we bring the guardsmen? Yeah, you know, that... yeah. I'd be pretty pissed too, because, like, come on. I'm a space marine. That's a guardsman. I should be able to do way more than they can. You know what I mean? But, you know, that's just my guess. Other than that, I have no idea how guardsmen could humiliate a space marine. So, the only way to find out is checking out the video. So, here we go.
G'day guys and gal. As a general rule of thumb, one space marine is probably worth around 100 guardsmen in a single engagement. This would obviously change depending on the situation, i.e. a full-on shootout might make a space marine only worth like 20 guardsmen, whilst a space marine boarding team attacking a ship might make them worth 300. Right. But regardless though, if it's 10, 100 or 1,000, the point remains. Space marines are significantly more deadly than guardsmen. Right. However, there have been
guardsmen just have the numbers
turned, and a mere unaugmented guardsman was able to slay a space marine, or at times, multiple space marines, inflicting upon them a fate worse than death for any Astartes: humiliation. Some of these were quite funny, others were quite intense, but all of them were awesome.
I'm sure space marines would rather go out in like a blaze of glory or something like that.
Before we get started, I actually have something pretty high-tech and very dope to show you. This is a Lumen, who were kind enough to sponsor today's video.
That's my guess, is a space marine would rather go out in like a blaze of glory or something like that and not be, you know, killed by a guardsman, you know.
How it works is that
oh, did you see what so-and-so did? He went toe-to-toe with a hive tyrant and stuff like that. You know, he got a couple of good shots in, but he still got ripped apart. You know, go out in a good blaze of glory and not be like, yeah, guardsman with a flashlight shot him and killed him.
It's likely your workout will feel sluggish and just won't be as optimized as you want it to be. But that's not all. The Lumen will analyze your sleep, your macro requirements, and so on before telling you exactly what you need to do.
I still like that giant Emperor statue behind him. That thing looks so cool.
Simply using it to optimize your food and sleep will make you feel
I wonder if he's done any videos showing off
and no, it's not just some snake oil device.
All the stuff he's got behind him.
Big-ass expensive medical equipment.
Because I'd like to see a close-up of that statue.
And the data was consistent across both devices. So to kickstart or boost your quest for a healthier you, then go to lumen.me/majorkill or just click the link below and you'll get a smexy $50 off your Lumen. Cheers to Lumen for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over various moments in lore where a guardsman has managed to slay a space marine, or at the very least, humiliate them. Let's get into it.
Okay.
Starting us off with a bittersweet example, we have the guardsmen taking on the Night Lords on Pharos. Pharos was a simple world with simple, peaceful people. However, it did contain a massive Xenos device that acted as a second mini Astronomicon. That was essential to the survival and coordination of Imperium Secundus. The story follows a group of militia who survive the initial Night Lord's onslaught and engage in guerrilla tactics against their tormentors. This militia is led by a fun but hectic hero of a dude who kicks off their Astarte kill tally by shooting a Night Lord in the eye and luring another one into the range of a high caliber sniper.
That's a pretty impressive shot, right in the eye.
More kills. kills. I genuinely believe that their kill to death ratio against the Night Lords was pretty much 1-to-1, a mostly unheard of stat. They were able to achieve this due to the arrogance of the Night Lords, alongside the Night Lords being kind of shit at open field combat, as well as the fact that they were packing some heavy weaponry, not just the las guns that ping off Space Marine armor. These brave guardsmen made a final stand against the Night Lords, blocking off one of the passages into the Pharos. They were able to ambush a large Night Lord force and genuinely kill dozens of them, until they were either captured or killed. The few survivors, including their hero captain, were brutalized and horrifically tortured to death.
Of course
they made the Night Lords pay. The Night Lords had been the most horrific pieces of shit during the war for Pharos, so seeing them die in droves to the guardsmen was very satisfying. Someone who probably doesn't believe they deserve to be on this list is the extremely humble and wildly capable Caiaphas Cain, hero of the Imperium. If you haven't read the Cain books and have only looked at memes, you may think that Cain is this incapable coward that stumbles into victory and is just super lucky. But that's not really the case.
Supposedly a badass.
The man is actually a beast, extremely brave, tactically intelligent, and a master warrior. He just
would be kind of cool to see him in a TV show.
Syndrome. So it may surprise you to hear that he is bested in multiple Space Marines. The first Space Marine was during a friendly sparring match between Cain and an Astartes from the Loyalist Reclaimer chapter. They agreed to fight till first blood. Now the Astartes was holding back as he underestimated Cain, but he still didn't want Cain to beat him. However, after a short duel, Cain was able to strike the Space Marine's chest plate, leaving a cut across it. The Space Marine was wildly impressed and vowed to never repair the scratch, as a lesson learned to never underestimate an opponent. However, in a more real situation, Cain was face to face with a Khornite Berserker.
That was pretty noble.
But Cain made it all seem like a joke. He parried the Space Marine's first strike before just straight up outclassing him, cutting him across the chest, parrying the warrior's axe to deflect it into its own leg, and then taunting it the entire time.
Damn!
Pansy. Then when the time was right, Cain stepped back and Jurgen blew out the Berserker's chest with a melter gun. Cain thanked his aid before asking for a cup of tea. Now this does sound quite over the top and Mary Sue-like, however Cain himself remarked that
is badass.
It was basically putting all his effort in at the start.
Can I get a cup of tea?
Make the Space Marine make a mistake. But how it actually reads was that Cain would have probably ended up killing the dude in the 1v1. Amberly Vale, an Inquisitor / Cain's fuck buddy, once remarked that Cain was by far the greatest swordsman she'd ever met in her entire life. A combination of extreme talent,
I really want to see him in a TV show now.
Cain didn't do the over-the-top flourishing risky strikes as he didn't think he was actually that particularly good, so he played it safe and controlled, never underestimating his enemy. Another commissar who racked up their fair share of Space Marine kills is Ibram Gaunt, alongside his Gaunt's Ghost.
Gaunt's Ghost.
Scene, a 5-man team of Chaos Space Marines ambushed Gaunt and his men. Not only did Gaunt and his men win, but all 5 Chaos Space Marines die with 0 casualties on the Imperial Guard side. That is wild.
That's impressive.
Gaunt himself killed a Space Marine with his power sword, with the Astartes struggling to come to terms with Gaunt just being a simple man, not a demigod warrior like himself. This was only one occasion of quite a few Space Marine encounters Gaunt and his men had. Whether leading his men against a squad of Chaos Space Marines or taking them on in 1v1 duels, nobody claps the big-ass roided heretics quite like Gaunt's Ghost do. Now that goes over most of the main clear-cut examples, but the
another show I wouldn't mind seeing.
I want to do some quick honourable mentions before we go into some of the more niche one-off examples of Guardsmen getting the upper hand over the Astartes. Firstly, some Inquisitors have handedly slain Space Marines, like Eisenhorn, but he is pretty damn powerful. John Grammaticus, a perpetual super spy agent, was able to outwit the first captain of the Alpha Legion, planting a movement-based mine on him in order to prevent him from going anywhere. So whilst these are 2 examples of humans coming out on top over Space Marines, they were done by 2 very special, very capable dudes. Warsmith Honsu, basically the current main Iron Warriors character, once engaged in a duel with an Imperial officer. Now this should have been pretty straightforward, but Honsu found himself on the back foot and losing to the mortal man. Such was the skill of this officer. So the Warsmith had to make a sacrifice. He baited the officer into cutting off Honsu's arm, which left the officer open for a killing counterstroke, winning Honsu the duel. Now although he won, he had to sacrifice his arm to do so. A pretty humiliating result considering his opponent was a mere unaugmented mortal. Sometimes in battle, people just go turbo mode, and this
just imagine losing an arm to a guardsman. Just so you can win.
Have balls of steel. Flying around a battlefield with a jetpack is pretty fucking red hot. So for an Elysian lieutenant to do what I'm about to tell you is pretty on brand. An elite Elysian veteran and his men engaged a large force of wordbearers. Now there's only one way this battle can actually go, but this lieutenant doesn't give a shit. He tears into the wordbearers, slaughtering them even as his men die around him. After racking up one of the highest Astarte kill counts out of all the guardsmen ever, he finally falls in battle. In a similar vein, an Imperial officer manages to rack up an impressive kill count against the wordbearers during a wordbearer book, which makes it even more impressive. This officer would die, but knowing he had taken out multiple bastards with him would have made it a satisfying end. The last key example of a human humiliating a space marine is as hilarious as it is ridiculous.
Oh, God.
A word-bearer, Gal Vorbak chaplain, so like the most elite of the elite,
Okay.
is killed by a savage human tribesman with a wooden spear. Yep, you heard that right. The human got a lucky, or unlucky if you were the word-bearer, thrust, which penetrated the word-bearer's neck perfectly and tore it out to the bone. The word-bearer had clearly underestimated the human and had died because of it. The only consolation was that before he bled out, he was able to pick up the human and tear him apart, but that would have done little to ease the pain of his death, or the even greater pain of being the only space marine to get clapped by an oversized toothpick. 9 out of 10 times when space marines died at guardsmen or normal humans, it's due to their overconfidence. I mean, there was even a fucking scene where a son of Horus Captain allows an Imperial Guard officer to shoot him in the chest because he thinks she's only holding a las pistol, but in reality it was a Volkite pistol, which melted through his armor and burnt out one of his hearts. Like he legitimately just stood there and let her do it, the fucking retard. I know GW is tempted to do it, but they better not even think about doing the Golden Banana Boys dirty like this, especially after the scene where a custodian loses half of his brain matter and is able to walk it off. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where we have not only a bunch of live action and cosplay photos, but also a boatload of Battlemaze 40 million hentai and some awesome high-res Warhammer 40k fan arts. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Join the Discord for more hentai and some awesome...
Whoa. That's pretty disturbing. That's pretty creepy. It's kind of like his mouth sewn shut. And his eyes. Oof. Ooh, that's pretty intense. Okay, so there we go. There is every time a guardsman humiliated a space marine. Those were pretty wild. Those were actually very wild. Especially right there at the end. That one I want to hear more about, how he lost half his brain and stuff like that. This one here just stood there and let himself get shot. Yeah, go ahead. What's your dinky little gun gonna do to me? And this one here, getting stabbed in the neck to the bone by a little toothpick. That is pretty funny, you know. Yeah, I mean, these are pretty good, you know. Never underestimate your opponent. There we go. Kairos Kane. Dude sounds badass. Like I've said before, I really want to see... I mean, there's so many shows, you know, like... Come on, Amazon, don't screw anything up. You know, for the love of God. Don't screw anything up, you know. You've done some really good shows. You know, Reacher and stuff like that. It was awesome. Don't screw this up, you know. I've heard the things about, like, Lord of the Rings and screwing with lore and all this stuff. Just don't. It's bad enough, you know. Star Wars is screwing up as it is. You have a winner on your hands, you know. I'm just hoping, you know, Amazon just doesn't screw this up, because there are so many stories they could do, you know, and it just takes one screw up and that is the end. You know, I mean, look at what happened with The Witcher, you know. Oh yeah, I mean, the books and stuff, they're, you know, they're whatever and stuff. We take our own liberties. And Henry left, and now no one gives a shit about the show anymore, which is why it was canceled after, or it's already been canceled, I think, season 6, I think, is the last, it's the last one, so they're not even doing, I think, what do they have, like 7 or 8 seasons planned. You know, no one cares anymore. You know, I mean, they had what could have been their Game of Thrones, if you will, but instead of making the correct changes, you know, get rid of that showrunner or something like that, we'll just let Henry walk, and just, you know, bang, there goes the show. You know, so that's why I'm just hoping, like, just don't screw this up, Amazon, because, you know, Henry will walk, he'll leave, unless there's some sort of, you know, contract, you know, thing, like he's got to stay for X amount of time, or, you know, he signed on to, you know, do a couple of shows or whatever. But if not, you start screwing up, he'll walk, and that's all it takes. It doesn't take much for people to say screw it. People left The Witcher. People don't care about the Lord of the Rings show. From what I've heard, I haven't seen it. Star Wars. So yeah, because I would love to see him in a TV show. I mean, from the things I've just heard and stuff like that, can you bring me a cup of tea? I would love to see that. Gaunt's Ghost, that would be another one. There's so many shows. But yeah, I mean, he sounds like a total badass and stuff like that, and that's pretty cool with the him dueling the Space Marine, the Space Marine kind of holding back, but not holding back too much that, it looks bad. And then getting the slice across the armor and stuff like that, and that's pretty cool that he didn't get it fixed. He just, kept it there, to be like, hey, don't underestimate your opponent. They can surprise you. But yeah, this dude's totally a badass. I mean, that uniform looks pretty sick, not gonna lie, all the black and gold. But yeah, these were very cool, especially, the Night Lords and stuff like that, getting ambushed. Yeah, I mean, so good on the Guardsmen. Good on them, Don't ever underestimate your opponent. Just because they're Guardsmen, they got weak little weapons, they can surprise you. Yes, they do have the numbers and stuff like that, but they can surprise you. So anyways, there we go. There is the video. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the Guardsmen humiliating Space Marines? Are you all for, a win for the little guy, if you will? Let me know. And, if there's any other videos you guys want me to check out, let me know. Leave a comment or link down below in the comment section or over on my Discord channel where we can talk more 40k and stuff like that. Suggest videos for me to check out because I'm always looking for, new 40k videos to watch and react to. So come over there. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links in the description box below. And other than that, just stick around. More videos are on the way. And I will see you guys next time.